as we always do every Saturday for the last going on what, a little over 4 years now. It's
Yup.
those three tenets, not six, three. Had to, it was so nice, had to do it twice. Yes, three tenets
It's
of a great
again,
Saturday afternoon.
again.
Yes.
So first he has an announcement. Now he's on the show. Where the hell is he? Yo, look, producer, just send him in. Please, just send him in.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to once again, folks. Of course, you guys know that your uncle is here live. Not in studio. My studio is actually getting a makeover today. So this is why I am not in the studios of Saturday afternoon's main event. But I am still here, of course, to grace the people. The people of Saturday afternoon's main events. And of course, it looked like you two curtain jerkers are here. Of course, that's unfortunate, but you guys are here. So folks, I know you guys know this because you're going to say it with me. Under the umbrella of the Uncle Triple C era is here live. Not in studio. And you stop drinking, Peep Snake. But today, of course, it is going to be another stacked show because you know why? Because my tag team partner, he is here. Of course, unlike you two jackasses, my pristine colleague is here. And to you guys, you know him as Mr. 411. But to me, he is a great friend of mine, a great friend of the show. And his name is Mr. 411 Christopher Morton. Welcome.
I'm over here draining threes like my name was Jalen Brunson.
That's right, baby. New York
baby.
Knicks basketball. A little shout
That's
out to
right.
Knicks basketball.
Yes. It's great to be on the show once again. I wanted to point out last week that if you look at the numbers, without Mr. House Show Curtain Jerker himself,
House show, hot garbage.
House Show Curtain Jerker himself, our show reached the highest views ever. And I have a reason to believe why. Because even though Uncle Triple C, you were unable to be on the show, we had some issues that we'll talk about.
Yes.
People always tuned in because they wanted to see if you would come back. And you didn't come back. But the people wanted to know if you came back or not. As far as hot garbage up there, they were happy he was gone. And they're like, we're going to keep tuning in. And we're going to watch this week. And you know what? A little shout out to Nate over there. He kind of carried his weight for the first time in a long time. But of course, I am the human wheelbarrow, and I carried most of the show. Nate came along for the ride, did a little
Agreed.
bit, you know.
Now, before we get to all the proceedings, let me just toast for the simple fact that, hey, Phenomenal One, you are still, after 4 years of doing this program, a piece of hot garbage.
Toast.
Cheers to you too, jackass.
The disrespect that
Chris,
nephew
shut up.
would show his uncle.
Shut up,
What
Chris.
is that?
Chris, shut up. Thank you. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, show to all ages, let's go ahead and bring back what we know is Saturday afternoon's main event. Now, of course, for you guys going ahead and joining us in, we appreciate you. If you want to go ahead and keep up with Saturday afternoon's main event, and you want to keep up with the show, anything that we post from memes straight up to wrestling news, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. Follow us on Instagram at Saturday afternoons_main event. Follow us on Twitter at Saturday Main. And of course, follow us on TikTok at Saturday Afternoons ME, where we have a lot of funny videos out there for you guys to go ahead and get entertained. Now, look.
Hold on. You forgot. You know, you talk about all the handles here on Saturday Afternoon's main event, but what happened to my boy, Mr. 411, his Morton's Law podcast? Mr. 411, please give them your handles. Here.
I would say they could follow me on Instagram at Morton's_. Actually, what is it? No, Morton's Law Podcast. Sorry, I just confused my X account. Yeah,
And he called me a
Morton's,
curtain jerker.
What?
Your house show.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. Yeah, that's about it. And of course, Morton's Law Podcast on YouTube. I'm actually in the works of putting together some new stuff.
All right.
Finally. Good grief. Anywho.
Okay, I have more jobs than a Jamaican, okay? So it's really hard to put anything together. Yeah, man.
Saturday afternoon's main event, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Now look,
it's gonna be one of those shows, folks.
of course, our mission statement here is to bring you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. So look, ladies, we're not going to go ahead and stop that from happening. We're going to go ahead and get into the first part of today's show. And of course, when you hear this sound, it's time for one thing and one thing only. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time for
Wrestling Crash Course.
first order of business, gentlemen, and Uncle Triple C. WWE releases have made a comeback. We sat there last year after WrestleMania 40 and determined that there was a good chance that none of this would have happened, at least not as grand as it happened this year. After weeks, we thought that it probably would have came the day after WrestleMania. It didn't. A week after WrestleMania, no. They waited a whole 2 weeks. And then out of nowhere, they just laid it out on us and said, hey, Dolan, Jackson, Strowman, Jade. Can we, peeps, what's the list? Because it seems like this is much more larger than the list of Jericho back in 2019.
Yes, 15 wrestlers, 10 from NXT. Go to Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, who we thought was getting some kind of a moderate push, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and then we go into the NXT arm, which is Cora Jade, like you stated, Gigi Dolan, 2/4 of Metaphor.
I'm sorry. Will you two assholes stop with this?
I am just acknowledging my second half of my tag team, Mr. 411, Christopher Morton.
You're lucky you're on the air today because the producers told me to allow you to stay on the air because you have some sort of stupid announcement. So please, can you shut up, sit down, and act accordingly for once?
But Nate, carry on.
I guess they're trying to finish with the whole good times part of the tenets. So see, even they can't live without the 3 tenets. Anyway, as I was saying, Gigi Dolan, who we did not expect to have that happen, especially since she just formed a little faction with Shotzi and Tatum Paxley. I think they were called Chemical X. Like I said, Jakara Jackson, Oro Mensah, both 2/4 of Metaphor, which is ironic because they literally broke up on Tuesday's NXT show. Also, Eddie Thorpe, Riley Osborne, who was part of the Chase U faction, which has been up in limbo since they broke that faction up pretty much. Javier Bernal and Gallus. It's significant that Gallus, for those that don't realize, that last year Gallus was kind of responsible for The Rock training to get ready for last year's WrestleMania. So they being there, all of those names shuffled off. It's really odd, especially for a handful of them.
You know what, Uncle Triple C? I look forward to the day that Saturday afternoon's main event announces that they have released hot garbage curtain jerker himself.
I agree. But again, there will be an announcement later on here on Saturday afternoon's main event. Stay tuned for later on in the show. But I do agree with you, Mr. 411.
Anyways, we'll go to Mr. 411. How do you feel about these releases?
Okay, so no one cares about Strowman, right? Can we all agree with that? I mean, did he ever provide anything on the TV that anyone cared about ever?
Well, he put over 2 big guys in Bronson Reed and also his feud with Jacob Fatu. So within the last 6 months, he has done some legwork on camera putting people over.
They didn't need his rub, if you will. Did they actually? Would they have needed Braun Strowman rub? I didn't know one existed.
Maybe not rub, but maybe legitimacy in a big man feud of getting them over by having him job. Maybe that's potentially what that was.
But when you job the majority of your career, let's be honest. Look, if you looked at Braun Strowman's win-loss record, what would it be? It's not very impressive for a guy his size. They never took him seriously, nor should we have taken him seriously. It was a joke. We know he was average, not even average. He was piss poor in the ring, okay? He was just a big guy. He's a Vince guy, let's be honest. He's a Vince guy. Vince is gone. Don't need him anymore. That's it.
What a precipitous fall for somebody that actually main evented WrestleMania not that long ago.
Crazy.
Wasn't he a tag team champion with a 10-year-old?
Yeah. Right. The writing should have been on the wall then.
The rest of it, I mean, NXT-wise, I was more surprised just because you kind of see her pop up on the main roster once in a blue, along with Roxanne Perez, was Cora Jade, right? I mean,
yes.
Wasn't that out of nowhere, Cora Jade? Why would you think they would release somebody like that?
Isn't she Braun Breaker's girlfriend?
Ex.
Ex-girlfriend. Okay.
She gets passed around more than a blunt at a Chinese party. Let's just put it.
Wow. Damn.
Oh, wow.
Kind of
It's
like
okay. You know what? Braun Breaker has moved on to Paul Heyman women. He's getting those top hookers,
top tier,
top hookers from South Philly now.
Oh,
Swanson and Rittner.
Right outside the 2300 arena. Yes, indeed.
The old ECW arena for you folks that don't know.
Which AEW is actually going to be going there soon. They're going to be doing a 2-week stand there with every show being taped. Or
kind of like a residency almost. Yeah.
And the chants, Tony Khan can take it up the ass.
The classic.
Saturday.
I warned you guys it was going to be that kind of a show. Oh, boy.
You have your children watching. Bad idea.
Yes, indeed. But of course, Saturday afternoon's main event, ladies and gentlemen, during Wrestling Crash Course. Of course, I'm the phenomenal one. Alongside me is, of course, the Peeps Nates. Down below is
you don't introduce. You don't introduce. Of course, it's me and me, Uncle Triple C, and my tag team partner, Mr. 411.
Real quick,
Triple C. I try to be cordial for 1 second and have the courtesy of introducing you, gentlemen. And this is what you know what?
Before you move on, if that was the plan here, I wanted to just say one thing about WWE and how much of a joke this is. The fact that they have essentially been printing money over the course of this Bloodline run and now segueing to what they've done at WrestleMania and so on and so forth, that they could actually release anybody. Do they need to? What are they saving by releasing anybody right now?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
You know, Chris, speaking about printing money and speaking about WrestleMania, we go to our next topic here on Wrestling Crash Course. SummerSlam tickets are now out, right? And to the dismay of a lot of wrestling fans, they're not expensive like WrestleMania tickets. Nosebleeds for the show for both nights are starting at $150.
Wow.
How? Since when? Lower bowl is going for around $200. Shocking. Since when? Gentlemen, I want to ask, this is the question I have here for this. Did they see the backlash and the vitriol that they got for WrestleMania tickets? That they're now starting to pull back on charging the common fan crazy numbers for these wrestling events? Or is it just because due to the fact that they know it's a 80,000 seat stadium and they know that they will still go ahead and pull off great gates from it, that they're pulling back on the prices? Uncle Triple C, we'll start with you.
Well, listen, this is the one thing that we can all agree on. At least, under the Vince McMahon era, at least the prices were fair. As time went on, obviously prices went up, but at least they were fair. At least you can afford, at least a family of four can go to a premium live event or even a house show or anything like that. Well, think about it. WWE barely does any house shows anymore. So now TKO, again, they're not stupid. I'm sure they heard the fans, and the fact that they, for MetLife, it would be an utter embarrassment if you saw a lot of empty seats as far as in the upper bowl for a big show like SummerSlam, especially in a city like New York, New Jersey area where fans from Philadelphia, can go. So you have about, so many different cities that can reach MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. I will say, as far as them bringing down the prices, well, it's a no-brainer, but still, I mean, these prices are insane. How can you expect to bring a family, and you're coughing up $300-400 a ticket? I mean, that's insane. I mean, you're basically paying a mortgage, for 2 nights. That's crazy to me.
And you haven't even factored in the fact that you got to eat while you're there, because it's going to be a long show for 2 nights.
Right, and you got to travel and all those other expenses that and if you buy merch and things like that. Mr. Paul, what do you think?
Well, I think I've even heard about Randy Orton's comments. Did you guys hear about that?
Yes,
he was embarrassed to learn the ticket prices people had spent on WrestleMania. So if your own guy in the business is talking about it, then I think it's an eye-opening experience to do what they just did and change that. And ultimately, though, you could say this, okay, if you can get away with it, keep doing it until it's not there anymore. I mean, I think in this situation with New York, they're going to come close to selling at that building regardless of what they want to charge for those tickets. Going forward, though, is the concern. As you go more and more, and if, let's say, the storylines aren't as hot, people lose interest, well, then they would have to start lowering the tickets anyway just to get people in the building. So better now than later, especially if everyone is on the same page that it's just disgusting what they're charging.
Yeah, and going to that Randy Orton comment, it was actually made when he was out with the fans.
Right.
And the fans were talking to Randy Orton. It was, oh, how you guys doing? Oh, we were fine, except the tickets cost so much. And I believe Randy Orton's his exact words were, I'm embarrassed for you. I apologize. I'm sorry. Wow. Even the wrestlers understand. Without the fans there, you don't have much of a product. And we know that the WWE is all about access, fans showing up, being part of it, an all-inclusive aspect of the wrestling business, showing the fans the courtesy being with the wrestlers. Now, this is not to say that the tickets are not expensive. They're exorbitant. There was a post on Twitter yesterday from somebody that posted tickets that were a Monday Night Raw, and I can't remember which arena. 2 years ago, the tickets that they sat in were, I believe, for one ticket, I think it was $290. 2 years later, same seat, same arena, $929.50. That is insanity. And when you take a look at what we were just talking about as far as the tickets go, we're not even mentioning the on-location tickets that they posted about 3 weeks before regular tickets went on sale, where if you're getting front row access on the floor near the ring, that's $40,000. That's supposed to be premium seating, front row, private transportation to and from the stadium. I guess the hotel tickets, I'm guessing, inclusive pre-show hospitality. You're supposed to meet up with some of the superstars like Kevin Nash and some of the others that are there. Maybe the Miz will show up. He'll tell you how awesome he is. Photo ops, your own personal entrance, whatever. It's $40,000. In this economy, as a wrestling fan, which, as we've all stated, Vince McMahon has always talked about the affordability of having that family atmosphere come out and show at a premium live event. That's insane.
Yeah, bring me your family so I can crap on their head.
Let's sacrifice them straight to hell.
And then after that, you're fired.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like.
Good grief. But speaking about, insanity, speaking about insane, we move to the next topic here on Wrestling Crash Course. Real American freestyle wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
You can
Real
only
American.
laugh at this. You can't take this seriously, brother.
Oh man.
It's the fact that I don't even have to bring up the names of the
Yes.
individuals. I just brought up the name that these individuals came up with, and you can see the response already.
Yes.
For those of you that do not know, at the beginning of the week, one Real American Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff put out a vignette.
I
of some
hate
sort that
black
was-
Americans.
You can't make this stuff up. This is a story that you would normally see on The Onion. You know.
So he put out an NWO-esque style vignette, which we thought, of course, was probably just them thinking about bringing back the NWO, which we sat there like, what type of BS are they trying to pull up with?
I thought it was a podcast that they were going to do. That's what I thought.
That's what I was thinking. Then out of nowhere, somehow, some way, towards the middle of the week, the news finally comes out that they're partnering with another individual named Izzy Wrestling of some sorts to bring out a show called Real American Freestyle Wrestling, which Eric Bischoff says is their version of a wrestling show that is kind of like The Voice.
Yes.
Please explain to the people here what is the exact problem.
A real wrestling show being done on TV by two guys that don't really wrestle. One headed up by a racist on network television. And it's going to have Real American Freestyle. And I'm pretty sure the sponsor would probably end up being Real American Beer somehow. I'm guessing that's where they're going to go with that. But
No, it's going
think
to be
about
Popeyes and Bojangles.
that. Good grief. They think about this. Apparently, Bischoff is saying that there are going to be bonuses involved. They're going to be age 18 to 48, which is kind of like the what Ric Flair used to always cut in his promos. Those are the people he was looking for. And it's going to be bonuses that are supposed to be adhering to NCAA rules so that there aren't any issues with eligibility and that kind of thing. How do you get this to work?
Last before it's canceled. How long? How many shows before it's
I
canceled?
give it a season.
Give it the one season. I'm guessing maybe 6 episodes, 10 episodes, maybe, if that's what they're doing. And then that'll be it.
What's gonna happen here? What's gonna happen here? The reason they're gonna go ahead and want to cancel is first episode in. Just watch. Two guys, technical wrestling in the middle of the stage. Hogan sits there, looks at it, he's like, I don't like this. That's not gonna work for me, brother. Gets up and leg
There
drops.
you go.
Kid you not.
Can imagine that. He just runs in and leg drops one of the amateur wrestlers, right?
Out! Just out! Just out, big boot. Probably takes his chair and probably gives one of those WCW style chair shots where it doesn't even look like a hard force chair shot. You know what? I digress. I give up.
Yeah, there you go.
Uncle Triple C, just tell the fans how you feel.
Guess what? There is an outlet, and unfortunately in America, there is an outlet for even the racists. So hey, look, you know what? We'll see what it does the first season. Like these guys said, I mean, I'm saying I'm giving it 5 shows. I mean, you guys saying 1 season. I don't think it's gonna even make it there. And that's the next thing. What TV outlet is even gonna want to pick this up, knowing that they're gonna get backlash from Hulk Hogan, being a part of that company?
I already heard the network. I found out the network. I got breaking news. The network is BET.
Good grief.
Oh,
Oh man.
oh,
You can't make this stuff up. I mean, really.
oh.
What are we doing here? I mean,
Look at that. Even the hot garbage had to walk away from that.
you can't. You just can't.
Well,
Bischoff
listen.
and Hogan running a legitimate wrestling promotion.
Yeah, well, good luck to Hogan and Bischoff with that. And who's gonna watch?
Yeah.
The
The
racist.
amount of wrestling on TV already.
Is there any chance? Is it any chance that the guys that got cut from WWE show up on here? Because remember,
No
Nick
chance.
Khan had basically said we don't bench talent. We just cut them. But hey,
No, it would be funny. It would be funny if they got backing from another person who isn't a part of wrestling currently, and has been hearing rumors about him possibly wanting to go ahead and get back into the business. What are the odds that they get sponsored by Vincent Kennedy McMahon?
Oh wow!
Oh,
The irony, right? Just imagine.
Mm.
I give up, ladies and gentlemen. The last topic here on Wrestling Crash Course: Crown Jewel is not going to Saudi. Thank God.
Well, there's a reason though. It's not like there's a reason.
Of course. But Crown Jewel will be moving to Perth, Australia this fall for the WWE. Of course, we know how Crown Jewel turned out last year, which was a good formatted show. I feel that going to Australia will be great, especially due to the fact that we know this will be John Cena's last time in Australia, which seems like if he is going to be champion for the foreseeable future, this would be in turn to be probably against Jey Uso, possibly whoever might be world heavyweight champion come Crown Jewel this fall, if Jey Uso isn't world champion by that time. Gentlemen, how do we feel about Crown Jewel going to Perth? Peeps, we start with you. Oh.
I don't have a
intellectual property. Peeps, just give it in.
Oh, you want to give in? Okay.
Go ahead.
Good. It's about time you finally give in to your goal. Now, let me say this. It's actually good that we don't have to see Crown Jewel in that terrorist country in the damn Saudis. But
we were just talking about racism, and here you go, Uncle Triple C. Good call.
Listen, terrorists, racists. Hey, we talk it all here on Saturday afternoon's main event. Politics. Now, listen.
Right. Everything's going to be okay because I'm in control, okay? Just listen to what I tell you to do.
Yeah. Well, after your first 100 days, I'm saying as far as the tariffs go, how's that looking for America?
Everything is great. Just like Tony Khan says, it's always great.
Yeah. Well, how about my 401k? How's that? Anyway. Well, listen. Here's the thing. As far as Australia goes, it's fine. I mean, a pay-per-view in Australia, you saw what the Australian fans did last year at, was it the Elimination Chamber? They drew big, they drew a huge crowd. They did big. The only thing is that, listen, last year, I remembered at 5 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, and if you're on the West Coast, that's 2 o'clock in the morning. If you're on the Central Time, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, damn, now I gotta wake up that early just to watch a PLE, and guess what? I know if it's going to be a good card, I'm definitely waking up to watch it live in Australia.
I mean, look at it this way. People stayed up for the Hall of Fame this year. That should tell
and
you.
That didn't end until 4:30 Eastern time in the morning.
Okay, so let's just tell the people why this is happening. This is happening because Crown Jewel is going to be in WrestleMania, correct? Oh wait, no, excuse me. No. Royal Rumble. It's going to be.
Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi for January
before
WrestleMania.
So that's why they're not going to do two shows so close to each other.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed.
And it makes the most sense travel wise, because then that's a 15-hour trip back and forth, and then you want to get ready to have Raw. Are they going to do Raw in Saudi Arabia or anything like that? If that was the case, so that's kind of the thought process.
I still can't get over it. Well, look at it this way, gentlemen. At least we get Royal Rumble next year at an earlier time during the day. I mean,
that's true.
That is
problem
true.
with that.
Right.
True.
1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to be Raw. Then you have the PLE. You had SmackDown, the SmackDown the night before, and then you have Raw, all in Perth, Australia for that weekend. So that for the international audience, for those watching in Australia, will definitely enjoy that 3-day weekend there. We didn't hear anything about NXT. Are they going to stay stateside, or are they going to tape the show, or what are they going to do by then? I mean, it's October, but it would be interesting if they actually brought NXT out to Australia for 1 week.
Indeed. But look, with that being said, that marks the end here of Wrestling Crash Course. Before we go ahead and head to break, peeps, give us the ratings for this week, which I know is an upside due to the fact that somebody went ahead and actually watched Collision. Not even just one person.
Oh, wow, yeah.
7,000.
What went on? Oh, well, they had a great lead-in, right? Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if you look at NXT, they did 674,000 with 0.15 in the demo. and AEW Dynamite 629,000 with a 0.16 in the demo. So off the disastrous ratings they got the week before where they did 521,000, they definitely got back to what would be considered normal numbers. But it's crazy the fact that Collision did 720,000 people watched. I mean, I was not expecting that at all.
What was the lead into Collision?
Yeah, the NBA game.
The playoffs? Yeah, what's the playoffs?
There you go.
Yes,
Right.
maybe they they brought them in because of the basketball going into Collision, and they stayed to see what was on afterwards.
Now, oftentimes, not saying, okay, again, great number, one of the best numbers ever for that show.
Mhm.
But when you look at the quarter-hour breakdown, which I don't have, I'm sure the numbers really took a dip as you went into that second hour. That is normally the case for even a Dynamite. Although lately they've been sustaining, to be fair. They actually haven't been dropping that much. Again, the sickos are what is left. That's it.
Yeah.
The casual fan, long gone. I don't know who, just that 600,000 base of sickos you're not getting rid of.
It's usually the first 45 minutes or so of the show stays pretty good, and then it takes a precipitous drop off a cliff right after that.
Not anymore. It's not. If you look at the quarters the last like 3 weeks, the numbers are coming back up now, even in the second hour of the show.
Yeah.
It's good.
So hopefully that's a good stance for them to keep it a little consistent so they can then try to build off the audience and bring that up.
But they never will. They'll never build off of it because they're going to give you the same stuff every week just to placate the sickos. So how can you build a new audience when the sickos might reject it? Like, for example, this past Wednesday night, what do you start the show with? An 8-man all-star tag team match that went on for about 30 minutes, right? Is that fair? About 30?
Yeah, about 30 minutes, about 28, 29 minutes or so.
Yeah, that was just for the sickos. So they could call their friends and call the other friends and say, hey, they're giving us one of the matches that we love to see, so let's turn it on.
But the week before that, the match that they started off with was one of the best matches they've put on in Dynamite, which was Athena versus Mercedes Moné, which was really good match. And we saw what happened with the ratings.
Well, I mean, we talk about the playoffs and stuff like that. Again, certain nights are going to hurt more than others with what's on TV. Also,
yes.
And I think the Young Bucks do leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. I think only the extreme sicko wants to still see the Bucks. I think even a percentage of their fan base no longer cares about the Young Bucks.
So basically, when the Bucks come on, you're thinking that they get the Jericho treatment.
It's close to that. I mean, they're just not. I mean, I'll say this though: there were a couple bright spots in that match. There was some good comedy spots. I didn't hate the match. Like I watched it, wanting to hate it, and I'm like, okay, they did some cool things here and there, and even the Bucks did some good spots. So it wasn't bad. It was something the sickos love. So whatever,
right? Well then, look, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of the first half of Saturday afternoon's main event. When we come back from break, we will go ahead and get into our questions, and of course, the person that is diagonal from me here, Uncle Triple C, has an announcement to make of some sort. But look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next.
Hi guys.
So you tell me the one time I tell you to play my intro, you
Listen, intellectual property. I did not even have to interrupt you to even say anything. That's what it does, piece of hot garbage. Well, anyway, welcome to the second half edition of Saturday afternoon's main event. I am your host, your uncle, Triple C, and I have my prestige colleague, Mr. 411 Christopher Morton.
It's always great to be here. By the way, this is kind of like the second hour of Nitro when it would have what was the first hour was Scott Hudson and Sabisco, and then in would come Shivani and Bishop or whomever was on commentary, Bobby the Brain. This is right. This is the second hour of Saturday afternoon's main event, where it's the better half of the show.
Of course. And then, of course, you have the other so-called co-host that's over there at the top.
The Timu co-host. Timu.
Hey, phenomenal one. Aren't we the guys that's responsible for these guys actually being here in the first place?
Talk about it, peeps. Talk about it.
Yes.
Somehow.
Intellectual property.
But somehow these 40-year-old incels don't know how to go ahead and smell their own shit sometimes. It's okay. But look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Same. Of course, like he said, phenomenal one. Peeps Nate, Mr. 401, Uncle Triple CD Jackass. We're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. So look, right back at you. Intellectual property, right? Ah, yes. Anywho, look, we're here to go ahead and watch into the questions. We appreciate you guys sending in questions. You want to be a part of the show. All you got to do is one thing and one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons _ main event. Send in a question in the words of the wrestling god, WWE Hall of Famer JBL. I guarantee it'll be on the next episode of the show. Now look, first one comes from Master Sean 007. He says, greetings, gentlemen. It seems like my question from last week was answered by the WWE yesterday. I was just wondering if some of these releases could be part of an angle. Highly unlikely, but the way the business is, who knows? And my other question is, why would they need to cut talent to save money when all we keep hearing is that the WWE is bringing in a record profits?
Yeah, we kind of touched on this already in the previous segment. I agree with him, and I think most people would have this sentiment that it doesn't make any sense. I mean, whatever those people are making a year, how does it hurt their bottom line? It just doesn't. Yeah. There's no way to defend that. Yeah. I don't know who's making extra money, who's putting what in whose pocket, but it's garbage. Sorry.
The majority of those people have to wait 3 months to go and work again. So you got that 90-day clause where you have to sit and wait and sit and wait. It's
but are they not getting paid in the 90 days? During the 90 days?
I believe they're still getting paid probably what was left of their contract, but yet they're not able to really work and continue to stay hot based on what they were doing. And some of those wrestlers that were released looked like they were getting some momentum, some groundswell of what they were doing storyline wise. I mean, we just saw Cora Jade on TNA TV. So what's going on?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if they have a working relationship with TNA and people get released, they should be allowed. That should be the one place they should be allowed to go to immediately and not lose any money if that working relationship still exists. Although I'm curious to know how it exists after what they did to Joe Hendry at WrestleMania. I don't know how you can be happy with that result. It still boggles my mind how that match went 3 minutes.
Yeah. What kills me is that what I'm hearing is that they didn't only release talent, though.
Yes.
They even fired people who actually work at the towers. Surprising enough.
Yeah,
they fired. You go ahead, Chris. You're good.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that I could tell you because I read the article, is that a lot of the people now that are being released were originally from the whole Titan Towers aspect of the company. But now it seems like because they're aligned now with the UFC, that a lot of the Titan Tower people are losing their jobs to the UFC people. So they're having the UFC people do both shows now, which is horrible.
Yeah.
That's insane. That is insane.
That's insane.
But look, from there, he also asked if, these releases could be a part of some kind of angle. Of course, we don't believe that.
No.
There's no way in hell. Genuinely, there's no way in hell that could be a part of an angle. I just say it like that. From there, we have one from a live comment, actually, from Jadinator Productions. He says, 100 WWE superstars versus one gorilla. Who would win? All of this gorilla stuff.
Time out. First of all, I would take Jacob Fatu against the gorilla, okay? I don't need 99 other people. Jacob Fatu is taking that gorilla down.
Yes.
Dog walking his ass, like, kid you not.
He doesn't need any partners for that one. He's just, you know what I mean?
I could just imagine the Gorilla's about to go ahead and pounce on Tama Tonga, and Tama Tonga's like, "Oh, you want to pounce on me? Yeah. It's out of nowhere. Are you seeing Jacob Fatu?
Yo, where is Tama Tonga? He vanished. He's not even on the team anymore.
Actually, Tama Tonga, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's hurt. I believe that he's hurt.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So,
looks like we just have to wait for, Guerrilla Warfare to make a comeback with Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga just so they can be a part of the tag team. And, if they hit the tag team division, we'll see more of Tama Tonga going ahead and botching crap. But, hey.
Botchamania.
Oh, good grief. But, thank you, Jadator, for that question. We have one more question from Hot Rod 316. He says, who do you think is more full of sugar honey iced tea? The Immortal Hulk Hogan or the Final Boss The Rock?
Oh, that's tough.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a WrestleMania match right there.
It did happen.
It happened.
Yeah, there you go.
What are the odds, right?
Yes.
Gentlemen, would it be bad if I said currently, if we're looking at who's more full of crap, if we just have to say it would possibly have to be The Rock? I feel like it's only right to say this now. I feel like The Rock is more full of crap than Hulk Hogan currently at this very moment.
I think when it comes to Hogan, I think it's kind of what you see is what you get at this point. We already know what Hogan is about. The Rock has come across to a lot of fans as somebody that is trying to implement himself into the success of the current WWE product. And based on what we saw at WrestleMania and his hands-on, hands-off approach, if you understand where I'm coming from, to kind of insert himself in the storyline and then kind of extricate himself out of it, but then say, well, I didn't have it. My hands are washed and I didn't need to be part of this. I think that a lot of people are looking at him as, right. Tell me something. Tell me when I'm not telling lies is the thought process a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah.
The Rock is a kayfabe killer right now. He's just killing everything by pulling back the curtain on everything. I mean, it's really bad. I don't know why he thinks it's good. And I don't know what kind of audience. I mean, can you lose an audience by pulling it back too much? And people go, wow, okay, so everything is fake.
I guess we'll find out in the summer when they do that Unreal show on Netflix.
Peeps, they already pulled it back too much with that trailer. Because after I saw the trailer and I saw Triple H talking to Jey Uso in the empty arena right before the show started, he was like, look, I'm trying to strap a rocket to you, man. Like, and it's just like, wow. So it's just like y'all really just showing us who y'all want to make stars. They had that predetermined, list of what WrestleMania matches should have been for this year. And you look at it like, wow. So this is what we should have gotten. This is what we would have gotten. And then
Jim Cornette's head is going to explode watching this. And I think Brian Last is in agreement. Says, I warned you about The Rock. So there you go.
Rico will be a part of that. Will be a part of that group as well. A lot of people are gonna go ahead and have a lot of mixed reactions about this.
Yes.
But currently, from what we've seen after WrestleMania, there is mixed reactions. This isn't gonna change. But to answer the question, I'm saying Rock.
Yeah.
Uncle Triple C, did you say rocket fuel?
Listen.
Speak to me, warrior.
As far as to answer Hot Rod's question, currently it's The Rock. Listen, at the end of the day, we saw what he said last week on the Pat McAfee show, and you basically throwing Triple H under the bus. I would change some things. I knew all the finishes, yet I was home watching. Yet you were part of the story, and yet you didn't even show up. At least a vignette, at least something, anything. Look, to you guys' point, as far as like that whole pulling back the curtains, that will Unreal, whatever it's called, that's gonna appear on Netflix. I'm assuming that's just a one-time thing. I hope it's not a weekly or monthly thing that they're gonna show.
I think it's the whole thing is to document what happened in the planning of WrestleMania 41, and they might break it down over a couple of parts. I'm not sure.
If that's the case, then I mean, fine. It is what it is, because then that's kind of like last year's road to WrestleMania that they pivot and all of that.
Yeah.
Last year, with The Rock and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and all of that. Look, as far as Hogan goes, I mean, it's like, it's clear cut. He's a racist. We all know this. But when it comes to The Rock, it's like, well, hey, listen, you were born into this business. You know all the behind the scenes. And yet you decide not only to pull back the curtain, but then now to crap on some of your co-workers or some of your, people that works for you. That is not a good look for The Rock. And he's a man of the people. Well, I'm sure he likes to read all the social media stuff. I'm sure he's going to read what a lot of fans think negatively of him. So I think that going forward, I think that The Rock will probably lay low for a while, and then whenever he needs to appear, I think he'll do right for business.
Uncle Triple C, two things. One, I had seen a headline. I don't know if it was clickbait. Is The Rock trying to get rid of Triple H? Sorry.
First of all, I have an ironclad contract. I can come and go whenever I please.
I'm tired. And then secondly, you know, it's funny, The Rock doesn't show up, right? When I'm starting the storyline. Kind of reminds me of the phenomenal one last week. Oh.
Anywho, this marks the end of the questions here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. We appreciate the questions, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be part of the action? All you got to do is one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Send in the question. It will be featured on the next episode of the show. Now, to go ahead and pivot now, we've reached that final part of the show where Uncle Triple C has an announcement to make. Not sure what this is. Whatever the heck it is, the producer has told me to give you the rest of the time being. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First and foremost, I'm going to say this. So, listen, I've been doing this show with you guys for a long time. And all four of you, all three of you, well, we start first with the first, and that's my tag team partner, Mr. 411, Christopher Morton. I have known you, Mr. 411, going back to the mid-90s. And in the mid-90s, when we met, of course, you being a Chicago Bulls fan, as you can see in your background, and of course, me being a Knicks fan, we couldn't stand each other. But one thing that brought us together was what we're talking about right now, and it's this business, professional wrestling. Well, Mr. 411, I want to say thank you to you, Mr. 411, because you have meant a great deal to me, your uncle, because and it was only you alone that acknowledged your uncle on this program. And Mr. 411, I want to say, not only as I say it all the time, you are a pristine colleague, but you are also a great friend of mine. And I want to say thank you to you, Mr. 411, because you are a great friend of mine. And I want to say thank you to Mr. 411. Now, let's get to the Peeps Nate. Peeps Nate, come on! Woo! You get the two claps. Why you get the two claps, Mr. Peeps Nate? Now, I know I have trashed you, let you have it for the past 6, 7, 8 months, even during the time that I was even on this program. Now, like you, I have known you for a very long time also. I met you in college, and it was you that did bring me to do this as far as doing a sports show back at our old radio station, and now looking forward to what it has become, transpired. Yes, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that has taken place, but at the end of the day, Peeps Nate, I just want to say this, is that, hey, look, I have given you so many headaches because I thought that you deserved it because of who I'll be talking about next, because you obviously show your loyalty to him. But, Peeps Nate, I just want to say to you, thank you. Thank you for not only always being a constant every single week doing this show, because it was you that I asked years ago to help what I call that piece of hot garbage over there, Phenomenal One, to do this program. And this show now has taken on a life of its own, and it's gotten even better with you, Nate, on this show. And I want to say thank you to you, Peeps Nate. Now,
thank you.
Now, for you two guys, I would just like to say, I would like for you guys to just kind of like be off the screen for a little bit, because I want to just speak to that piece of hot garbage. Is that okay for you two? Okay. So can we just cut those two for a second? Let's get to you, because, you know, you, to me, the Phenomenal One, you are still a piece of hot awesomeness. You know, it was back at WrestleMania weekend. Now, I'm going to say this, folks, and for you fans, you guys don't know this because there was a lot of things that happened behind the scenes during WrestleMania weekend. So I'm going to say this, is that, folks, I am still your uncle, Triple C. And that right there, I have said for the last 6-7 months that you are hot garbage. But what is not known on this program, and what is not known what took place, and this is the reason why you was not on this program last week, hot garbage, was because of the fact that, yes, there were a lot of things that took place, again, behind the scenes. We're not going to pull back the curtain for every single aspect of the show, but there is one part that I will pull back the curtain on. So last week in Vegas, when the show went off the air, I should say 2 weeks ago, when the show went off the air, so my sister and him, my nephew, decided to give me something. And that something was this. Now, what you guys see here, it says the urn, it says donate to Memorial Jewelry. Now, that right there was something that I had no clue, my sister and the Phenomenal One. So they decided to give me something. And what they decided to give me was something that is very dear to me. And this is what it's dear to me. Now, you're asking yourself, now, what is this? Now, what is this? It's just a cross in a chain. But, folks, it's not just a cross in a chain. This right here, my father, which is his grandfather, passed away last year. And what's in this urn, folks, is my father's ashes. Now, Phenomenal One gave me these ashes and gave this to me for me to take my father to WrestleMania. Now, folks, I did sit in the suite, and it was the first time that I got to take my dad to WrestleMania, and that meant the world to me. And I just want to say, folks, I am still the uncle. I'm still part of this program, and this show is going to continue doing well without this program. This has really gave me a lot to think about, and I'm just going to take some time off from this program because this is my dad, and I finally got to take him, even though he never wanted to go. It's not like I didn't have the money, because your uncle always has money, but he didn't want to. He never wanted to go. But this was the very first time that I was able to take my uncle. So I just want to say to everybody here on Saturday afternoon's main event, I'm going to take a little break from this show because your uncle is about to go into the land of Uncle Triple C-ness. Because that's the only way your uncle can go. Because it's time for me to reflect and think about all the things that I have done. So, Phenomenal One, I just want to apologize to you for what I know I have done and caused this family and this program. And I just want to just, again, say, I'm sorry to you. So, with that being said, this will mark the end of Saturday afternoon's main event for my pristine colleague, Mr. 411. Of course, the second half of the dynamic duo, the People's Nature Boy. Woo! And for my nephew, the phenomenal one. I am your uncle, Triple C, saying for everybody here on Saturday afternoon's main event, we showed up, we broadcast, and in the world of same, that's it. Thank you for the house. Saturday afternoon's main event with the phenomenal one, the People's Nature Boy, Mr. 401. We'll see you next week.